800-554-3775. That's 800-554-3775 today.
You've got to see Scott Kia's new location in Limerick. Their focus is on you. Relax with an easy, transparent, and enjoyable car buying experience with a stunning showroom, a state-of-the-art service center, and a staff that understands your time is valuable and will treat you like a VIP. It's time to experience what a 5-star service truly feels like. They are focusing on you, and that's changing everything. And that's why it's always smooth sailing at Scott Kia of Limerick, just off Route 422.
Cipriati at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty of Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriati, NPN number 2083768.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. We have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
We knew it was a lie. We knew that we were being lied to. We knew the truth would emerge. And finally, years later, here it is. So we all were told J6 was this horrible, violent insurrection, anti-American, against the country we love, for the Republic, which we stand, right? Angry fringe, those evil supporters, which many of us, I am. And that's what we were told, that we were bad, MAGA bad. And so we were shown certain footage. Remember Liz Cheney? She was so holier than thou, as essentially we were judged. I felt like whether you were physically there at J6 or whether you supported people here in our community whose constitutional rights were violated. I mean, I think of Zach Reel in the Northeast here in Philadelphia. You know, wife, 2 kids, good guy, United States Marine, went to Temple, going on with his life. I remember that morning. I really wanted to go, to record it with a camera crew and go with people on some of the bus loads of people that went. And even on the way back, so many of you were calling and saying, yeah, Dawn, it was great. We were having such a great time. And then the day unfolded. Do we have our next guest? So let's listen into a trailer on this must-see film, and this is preceding our next special guest, Chris Burgard. But we want you to watch and listen to this trailer, "The War on Truth."
You make another one.
With investigations related to child sex trafficking, have you reassigned any of these agents?
I don't believe we have reassigned people away from child exploitation.
Lie. So to be clear, the FBI moved you off a pedophile task force to a January 6th task force. Yeah.
Can you even imagine that? So that's just a snippet to give you a taste of this, that the FBI, we learned, I reported secretly deploying the 274 plainclothes agents to the U.S. Capitol January 6th, one of the headlines we've seen this week. Welcome in, Chris Burgard. So honored to have you here, director of this groundbreaking documentary and docu-series on this War on Truth. Thanks, Chris, for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Absolutely. Can you take us through, we're just reporting some of these headlines all these years later, and you don't really see this in mainstream media, something that was reported one way. And so this is important work that you're doing. Can you tell us, first of all, how you put this together?
So I've spent the last 20 years making movies about interesting places in Central America, on the border, all over. And on January 6th, I felt called to be there. I was there with my family and my best friend, Nick Searcy. And we filmed what happened that day. We didn't think we were going to make a movie about it until this scripted narrative came out, and we figured we needed to put down what happened that day. Otherwise, that day would be lost to history and be rewritten. I'd been through attempted color revolutions in Central America. I saw what was happening that day. So we made a movie called Capital Punishment. It came out. It was the most censored movie of 2022 in America. And then while I'd just gotten back from the border making another movie about the border with Tom Homan, and the FBI came a quarter mile into my ranch, and I found out I was under investigation as a terrorist threat to the United States of America for making Capital Punishment. Wow. Which I took personal because my dad was 109th Session, the FBI Academy, and I've worked 20 years with law enforcement up and down the border. So that, I can't tell you the stress that put on my family when you're a dad and your daughter's afraid they're going to come and hit the house and kill her dogs, and you can't take away the fear of your own government from your daughter. That's a tough one. So after that got settled down a little bit, because what they did was I had good attorneys in case something like this happened. And what they tried to do is they tried to go around my attorneys and lure me outside of my county to do an interview. And I knew what they're going to do. They're going to try to Mike Flynn me. And I've done 3 projects with General Flynn, and that just wasn't good. So after we got a couple of months, when we got a little bit of stability to their investigation into me, Nick's like, if they're doing this to you, what are they doing to everybody else? We have to make this movie. So we made this movie. We called it The War on Truth. Because at first we thought it was a war against Christians, because most of the people we were talking to that were in prison were Christians. Mm-hmm. But what we realized is Christians are called to speak the truth. It's really a war on truth. Christians just get in the way. So the war on truth, it's just so sad. I mean, you're going to see in the movie, there's a guy named Bobby Powell. He's a journalist from Michigan. And he filmed what he absolutely believed were 2 federal agents breaking into the Capitol, breaking glass, pushing people into the Capitol. When he turned the camera on them, when they saw he had press helmet, they all of a sudden did a 180 and tried to act like they were protecting the broken window, which was a lie. Now, Bobby tried to get this footage out for years, and according to Bobby, we did have lunch with this ex-congressman, and according to Bobby, the congressman offered him $100,000 to lose the footage. He turned that down. Then he said $200,000. He turned that down. He said, I'm a former Marine. You're going to have to kill me to keep me quiet. Mm-hmm. And according to Bobby, the congressman said, well, that could be arranged. And Bobby had a bad heart, and it wasn't good. But Bobby died 3 weeks ago, and I just wish he could have been here today to see everything that he reported and try to bring to truth, to see it realized and acknowledged.
I'm so sorry, for the loss of your friend. as far as this goes, the war on truth, we're living it in real time. And so I was just saying, Chris, that I think there are so many people who, whether we were there that day or whether we all know people who went there that day. I mean, first of all, it was a huge crowd. They refused to give us the crowd estimate because it was such a huge crowd. Most people, did leave and go home. But, what do you hope comes out of this? And I say to people, please, this is must see, the war on truth. But what do you hope comes out of this as a result of all of this?
I hope that the people that tried to steal the United States government and do a color revolution, a coup in our country, get brought to justice, come to light, and justice is served. You had people that effectively took over the United States government. And when you see the war on truth, Lieutenant Scott Bennett lays it out how Ukraine, the color revolution in Ukraine in 2014 was a dress rehearsal for what happened on January 6th. And he names the people that need to be investigated at the highest levels.
And that's just it. I think, so many people feel like this broken trust that we have in our institutions. Do you feel like this is one way to restore that trust? In other words, root this out, figure out exactly who knew what, when, who ordered. I mean, all of those different agents, which I saw the statement, they said, well, we didn't have quote unquote employees, which I realize many people within these federal agencies, especially the FBI and so on, you're not necessarily technically an employee. And so the language, they're playing games with it. But, as far as this goes, it continues. Are you worried? I mean, you talked about your ranch. You talked about security. Are you still worried despite the fact that it's the Trump administration right now?
No, I'm not. And when this went down, when this happened, I sat my girls down. I said, look, I will stop doing this if you want me to. My daughter started crying. She was 18 at the time. And she said, Dad, you've got to win this. If you don't win, I want to have kids. I want to have a country, Dad. And so, no, I'm not worried. But the truth needs to come out. And, right now everybody's in shock because of 274 FBI agents. Mm-hmm. Well, that's how many agents were in there. How many assets were in there? How many DHS agents were in there? How many ATF agents were in there? How many CIA? How many undercover military? This is way bigger than anybody can realize right now. This has to all come out. And I will tell you and you'll see this in the movie, there's a guy that lays this out. His name's Lieutenant Tariq Johnson. He was the Capitol Police Lieutenant that day. He did some amazing things to save lives. He disobeyed orders, and he cleared out the House and Senate chambers. And the reason that's important is because the use of deadly force for Capitol Police is if you're protecting bodies, you're protecting senators and congressmen, you can shoot to kill. If it's just real estate and they're trespassing, you're not allowed to do that. So what he did was by clearing out the Senate, he saved hundreds of lives in the House. If he would have done that 15 minutes earlier, Ashley Babbitt would still be alive because the rules of engagement would be different. If he had done it 20 minutes later, you would have had hundreds of dead Americans as they pushed through those walls into the chambers. That was the real plan of January 6th, was to have hundreds of dead Americans, and this thing you never would have put this back in the box.
And so with it, there were so many things that just didn't make sense. For example, Chris, the fact that we had so many of those different law enforcement that were on duty, the Capitol Police, the suicides. Do you address that, or do you feel?
Yes. No, ma'am, Dawn, we do. And this is, look, here's how you can tell when there's an intelligence operation going on. And you knew this was an intelligence operation because the misinformation that was coming out from the beginning and the repeated script over and over. And let me just explain one thing. There was a guy named Joseph Goebbels that worked for a guy named Adolf Hitler. And in order to control the people, one of the things he learned was if you make the lie big enough and tell it often enough, repeat it, it becomes truth to the state. So take a look at what happened here on January 6th. Mm-hmm. Years later, for months, the FBI ran with this. The Justice Department ran with this. The Biden administration was saying it until the end of their administration. The 5 law enforcement officers died on January 6th. 5 were killed by MAGA people. Now, that's a complete lie. Officer Brian Sicknick was not bludgeoned in the head with a fire extinguisher by MAGA people. He died the next day of natural causes. The other 4 police officers died of suicide weeks and months later. What that covers up is the people that really did die that day: Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Kevin Greason, and Benjamin Phillips. And in fact, when you see one of them that died of a heart attack, it's because he was hit in the chest by a concussion grenade that was launched from the Capitol. And that hit him. It burst into fire. It burned the face of the guy next door to him. He goes down screaming. This guy drops down, and he dies of a heart attack. All right, so you have to ask yourself, how and why would people at the top of our government say this lie over and over and over? And the answer is because it's propaganda, because they had to push a false narrative on the United States of America. And it worked. It worked.
Well, we just thank you so much, and we just pray for your safety, and we thank you for bringing forth the truth, Chris. It's really an incredible project, and I hope, unlike your last one, I do hope that you win an award on this one, because I know that there were many people who said you deserve those awards, and I would, if I could nominate you, I would.
You're very kind. But listen, we're giving this movie away. It's going to be out this Friday. It's going to, His Glory Ministries is putting it out. It's going to be out on Rumble. It's going to be out on X, and it's going to be on hisglory.me. So it's free. Just watch it. Show your family members. Show your friends. The truth will set us free.
Chris Burgard, thank you so much, Director of The War on Truth. Thanks, Chris.
God bless.
God bless. Just ahead, we will check in with Dr. Michael Busler, and so we'll check on all things economic with our favorite economics guru, if you will, Stockton University. You know Michael by now. Check in with him as we're TikTok. Tonight's the deadline for this big budget on Capitol Hill. So much happening this morning. I have a lot to update you on. Thanks for being here. We'll be right back.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly. This service is available based on Medicaid eligibility. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782. That's 267-692-3782. To get started today, you get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Some big news. Just before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers and threats ahead for those who stand for truth. Charlie wrote this in his last published work, the foreword for the new book, Pagan Threat. Authored by Pastor Lucas Miles, Charlie said that Pagan Threat could save America. Charlie said you must read, internalize, and share this book. It has the plan to stop the wokeism infecting America. Already a #1 Amazon bestseller, Pagan Threat is available wherever books are sold. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer and save $30. Go online now to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com. Millions are tuning into Newsmax on all major cable systems. They're downloading our free Newsmax app on their smartphones. And they're getting Pagan Threat to see Charlie Kirk's final words. Go today to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonihan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with an easy question. How are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is a key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember to use the code DROP to buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP at res-q.com.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10.
If Larry Krasner accepts your invitation to come out and debate, I will donate $500 to Larry Krasner's charity of choice.
Wow. We will donate $100 to Larry Krasner's charity of choice. Awesome. If he comes out with the data.
And I feel very confident in giving up $500 that I can't afford to because I know he won't show up. We should have people in this city with bigger platforms that are challenging this guy. Yes. It shouldn't just be Frank or Talk Radio 1210.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
Talking about your money. Now, Justin Otero, who's filling in for Dan Borowski, doesn't know this, but my son David was in Mamma Mia, and this is one of the songs.
Really? Isn't this the second day in a row that I've played a song that David's song?
Justin is like psychic. I don't know. I love it. It's a rich man's world. So this evening is the big deadline, the big budget deadline, and Democrats and Republicans going at it, blaming each other for this looming deadline. But when we think about the economy, which we had some pretty optimistic news, I think, last week, and then we saw even this has quieted down. You're not hearing too much about about the Fed, right? Because that was after Powell last week. Jay Powell had done this long form interview before a live audience and then described how, lo and behold, he thought with the tariffs, well, there would be an initial, maybe a bump that you would see the impact of tariffs, but then it would level out and everything would be all fine and cozy. And after he said that, boom. No, do you notice this? Nobody's talking about the Fed anymore. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was kind of like, well, he kind of just crushed that narrative. So they're on to the next thing, if you will. Let's check in with our guy, our guru of everything economic, and that is Dr. Michael Bossler, who is the chief economics professor, Stockton University. And you know him as well as somebody who is tapped into as a resource across the nation on a lot of different national publications and shows. So we always love your time that you give us. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Dawn. Always my pleasure to give you time.
Thank you. So as far as this is happening with the budget deadline, I don't know. Imagine if all of us did this on a deadline where it's the deadline drama. You know, if for everything we needed, we had all of this drama within whether you ran a business or your taxes or whatever. But I always think about that. Imagine if each and every one of us, how crazy it would be if we had this much drama and we argued with somebody about whose fault it was that we couldn't make our budget deadline. And so
this is I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is something that is continual. I mean, it's not something, well, we'll get through it this time and then we'll be good for a while. Congress doesn't come up with a budget every year. And the reason is they can't agree on spending levels. So what they do is they pass what's called a continuing resolution, that says essentially we keep spending where we're spending until the resolution runs out and we have to decide what to do again. And they keep kicking the can down the road. And now here, we're at a point where President Trump has said, look, the public debt, and we've talked about this before, the public debt is $37 trillion. We're running an annual deficit of nearly $2 trillion a year. We can't keep doing that. So we have to eliminate that.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump has said, I will not raise tax rates on anyone. I will not raise tax rates on anyone. If we keep the rates low, it'll grow the economy and tax revenue will increase. But I'm not raising tax rates. Everybody you talk to says they're overtaxed. So the only thing left to do is to cut spending. And every time they come up with an area where they want to cut spending, some politicians, some government officials have a problem and say, can't cut this. Medicaid, and I think we talked about this on the show before, Medicaid, when DOGE looked at it, they said of the 70 million people collecting Medicaid, about 10 million of them shouldn't be collecting. They're either not eligible or they're able-bodied and they ought to be able to work and pay for their own health insurance. Well, when you try to cut anything out of Medicaid, the Democrats in particular are going to throw all these people off their health insurance. It's a terrible thing, and we're not going to vote for anything that cuts Medicaid. So every time they try to cut something, somebody has a problem with it. And then you put something in that was supposed to be temporary. There's some spending that went in after COVID, to try to help people get through this. It was supposed to be temporary. The Democrats want to extend that and make it permanent. And President Trump says, look, we just can't keep doing this. We've got to eliminate the deficit and eventually work on the public debt. The House of Representatives passed a resolution, continuing resolution for about 60 days. It went to the Senate. The Republicans voted for it, but you need 60 votes. So you need 7 Democratic senators to vote for it, and none of them want to vote for it. So now we're stuck in a bind here where unless something miraculous happens in the next 10, 12 hours, the government will be shut down.
And so I thought it was curious that generally speaking, when I've covered, these government shutdowns over the years, and sometimes they do have it. Sometimes it's only for a weekend. Sometimes it's longer. We can all remember those. Generally speaking, federal work, federal employees, federal workers are furloughed. This time around, the announcement came that they would be laid off from their jobs, because generally speaking, a shutdown will actually cost taxpayers. It doesn't really, unless I'm wrong on this, but I believe that it's an added cost. It's not like it saves us money because things shut down. So what's the benefit that you see of saying, no, they're not going to be furloughed? Would that mean no back pay?
Yeah, typically when we have a shutdown, I think the last one was in 2017 or 2018. We had one in 2011, as I recall. Typically, they bring the workers back, and then they pay them all the back pay that they would have earned. So it's not saving any money at all. This time, President Trump has said, look, there are 2.4 million workers on the federal government payroll. When DOGE went in and looked at this, the number of people and the antiquated systems that they're using, DOGE concluded you bring in modern software and hardware, and you can get by with about half the number of employees that the federal government has now. So Trump has said, well, if we're going to lay these people off, before we bring anybody back, we're going to make sure that we need them. And since we've determined we have over 1 million workers, government workers we probably don't need, a lot of these aren't going to come back. So I think it'll be a little different this time than it has been in the past. And maybe we'll start to whittle down some of this bloated government and all these people on the payroll who are earning very generous salaries, and a lot of them are working remotely, and who knows what they're doing. But we have to get this government spending down. We have to get it down, and we have to reduce the number of employees. Maybe if we go to a shutdown, Trump will be able to do that.
Yeah, that's what I keep seeing. I saw Bloomberg, CNN. I'm looking across the board over the past few days. Politico had a big article as well. And so the suggestion here is, will they use the government shutdown at midnight tonight, if that happens, to then do a little Doge action? I mean, that's exactly, I have no idea if they really will do it. Is it a threat? I don't know. Beyond that, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think it's a threat this time. I think President Trump is serious that if we lay off workers before we bring anybody back, we're going to make sure that we absolutely need these people. This is Trump's chance, he feels, to really start to whittle down the workforce. Every time he talks about laying off some workers or firing some workers, people go to court, and the court won't let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe now he'll be able to do it. I think that's what he's thinking.
Looking, in the long term, when you see this, and I was happy to see that somebody finally asked Jay Powell about, as far as the tariffs and what he saw. I think that was late last week, and it was a long interview, sit-down interview he did before a live audience. And I thought, maybe the Fed chair is listening to Dr. Michael Busler. I'm telling you, if I had it right now, and I should have sent it to our producer, to Justin, but I'm serious. It's almost verbatim as to what you've been saying, that there might be a little kind of a hump that we get over with the tariffs, and then it kind of smooths out. I mean, do you still stick by that? Is that what you still see?
Yes, exactly what I see. I don't think the tariffs will put that much upward pressure on price, although admittedly it will put some. What Trump is hoping is that energy prices start to fall dramatically. OPEC has agreed to increase production starting this month. And some of the drill baby drill policies of Trump will start probably next year producing more oil. That increase in the supply of oil will bring energy prices down, and energy accounts for about 7% of the consumer price index. So even if there is a little bit of upward pressure from tariffs, it will be more than offset by the falling energy prices. And I still stick by, I expect sometime, as President Trump has said, he expects sometime next year, maybe next year at this time, to see oil down in about the $50 a barrel range, and gasoline probably in the $2.50 range. If that happens, any impact from the tariffs will be minimized, and you'll see the overall inflation rate, I think, going down to that 2% target that we're shooting for.
Well, Dr. Michael Busler, as always, want to thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. Stockton University, thank you. Till next time, Michael.
Always my pleasure, Dawn.
Pleasures are all ours. Dr. Michael Busler, really appreciate him. I saw that there was some stories and reporting about pipeline expansion across the Appalachian Basin, holding the key to solving the nation's energy crisis. Every time I talk to, for example, Senator Dave McCormick is a good example, talking about this very issue. And this one is the centersquare.com. So this issue, as well as other natural gas production issues and some solutions here, this was something that industry leaders, policymakers had gathered for some insight at a multi-day conference hosted by Marcellus Shale Coalition. So as they look to this, I'm just pointing out to you, when we think about our general region here, that pipeline expansion, they're really looking to do that. And then as well, Pennsylvania taking center stage on this one. It means jobs. And at the same time, I still believe that they're looking at, trying to cut down some of the regulations. And the dereg will help usher this new era in. But that will be great news for us here in Pennsylvania. We've talked about it. So many of you have, in fact, moved south and even are maybe watching on YouTube from the Carolinas or Florida or Texas. And that's a piece of it that I keep seeing, talking to so many people who say, yeah, it's just so much cheaper to live in other parts of the country and as well taking those jobs down south. So we're watching this very carefully, but I had seen that there's still, news rumbling as far as this pipeline expansion, how big of a deal this is, drill, baby, drill. And that was something that Senator McCormick has repeatedly during my interviews with him has spoken about this, that we have to have the reform on the permitting process at both the federal level as well as the state levels. And that as well will lead to this new era of expanding the drilling opportunities, the export opportunities. It all goes hand in hand. And then, of course, it will bring in the broader types of economic, technological advancements that we've talked about so that we here in Pennsylvania can feel some relief. I've talked a lot about, and we just got our PICO bill the other day. The prices continue to go up here. We continue here in Pennsylvania, and if you're in Jersey, huge issue for New Jersey. And so for us here in Pennsylvania, the average is 45% higher. That's what we pay more than the rest of the nation. So it's not acceptable, and hopefully we'll get some relief. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. Got to keep on time. We'll take a quick break, and at the top of the hour, then, of course, I will update you. Got a lot of headlines, a lot of breaking news as well, nationally and locally, so I want to get through that, update you. Thanks for being here today. Dawn Stensland at Dawn Stensland on X. Be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-554-3775. That's 800-554-3775. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-554-3775. That's 800-554-3775 today.
Horizon Plumbing and Electrical knows the best way to handle that dripping pipe or flickering light isn't just wishing it'll go away on its own. Good news for you. You don't have to think too hard to take care of these issues. thanks to our free, no-obligation plumbing or electrical safety inspection with any paid service. The experts at Horizon will fix any small problems before they become big, expensive ones, and even have 0% interest financing available on repairs and replacements. Enough with the wishful thinking. Book today at horizonservices.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Let me tell you about my friends at Bob's Little Sports Shop. Bob's isn't just about selling firearms, so they have the most incredible selection around. They're a full-service shop with years of experience and a commitment to helping customers become safe, responsible gun owners. Right now, you can sign up for a handgun cleaning class, just $35, manufacturer specific. Learn how to clean your firearms safely, step by step. Spots are limited, so pre-register today. Also, don't miss their next co-ed shoot on October 12th. Perfect for beginners or experienced shooters. It's a fun, supportive way to learn or sharpen your skills. Bob's instructors are certified NRA and range safety officers, and they also offer renewal certifications, so you can make sure your license is current. No alcohol or drugs permitted, but you don't need a firearms ID card or prior experience to attend an event at Bob's. So visit bobslittle.sportshop.com. This ad sponsored by Bob's Little Sports Shop.
Hugh Douglas here, and I know by now you've heard of my new drink, the new Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry Whiskey. It's the real deal, folks. It's bold, vibrant blackberry softened with creamy vanilla, toasted oak, and just a hint of honey. It will be the touchdown of your tailgate this season. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry, now available at your local fine wine and good spirits. Celebrate responsibly.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation, and Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Hey, Joe DeCamry here. Fall into savings right now at United Tire and Service. When you buy any 4 tires, they'll help you winterize your vehicle. Bring your car in today and save an extra $25 on any winterization, oil change, or alignment. The team at United Tire cares just as much about your car as you do. So why would you take your car anywhere else? Find your locally owned United Tire and Service location at UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. For the best tire prices and the best service, don't drive alone. Drive United.
Fall means football, and the ultimate game plan starts in your kitchen. At D&K Appliances, we carry winning brands like GE, Bosch, Wolf, and Sub-Zero. So whether it's game day grilling, chilling drinks, or post-game cleanup, we've got you covered. Family-owned with personalized service. D&K Appliances delivers, installs, and supports every play. Visit our showrooms in Newtown Square or Flowertown, or online at dkappliances.com. D&K Appliances, the dependable difference.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
There is so much developing locally as well as nationally, and I believe that soon, we're told, within the hour, President Trump addressing the nation with an Oval Office announcement this morning. And so this, as I'll just update you on what President Trump has been up to. It's been a very busy morning. We played a little bit at the top of last hour, and that was President Trump addressing this, I don't want to say an emergency meeting, but it was a bit of a last-minute meeting, if you will, of different military, the top military brass. And perhaps this is a little show of might and muscle for Venezuela to back down, because I think that's a piece of this. But as well, you had, and we played this for you, the SecDef, or Secretary of War, as he now is, Pete Hegseth, warning the military that there's no more of this flabby or out of shape or unfit military members, and right to the faces of the top brass, calling them out, basically saying, none of you, whether you're rank and file, military or whether you're the, in the chair. What did he call him? The warrior chair or whatever he said. It was kind of funny. I was like, oof, ouch.
I think it was like Chairborne Ranger.
Chair, yeah. He's saying if you're, maybe you've paid your dues and you think you can be a little, I don't know, flabby as a top general, yikes. It's like, and they want to just go, yeah, you little snot 40-something-year-old, whatever he is, all fit and handsome, Pete Hegseth, calling them out. But perhaps they agree with him that everybody needs to get fit. So the overall message is a good one, but they were not mincing any words. By the way, President Trump, putting out here saying that President Trump, he says $24.5 million for the illegal ban. This is a massive victory, proving big tech censorship has consequences. Every shadow banned patriot deserves justice. And he says that he fought for free speech and won. So talking about being shadow banned, cracking down on that one. But we're told that President Trump will be, and obviously I have some news as well talking about Israel, so we'll get to all of that. But he says as well, in order to make North Carolina, which has completely lost its furniture business to China and other countries, he's going to make North Carolina great again. This is another President Trump vow, saying he's imposing substantial tariffs on any country that does not make its furniture in the United States of America, with details to follow. I remember back in the day, we used to talk about that even sometimes people would travel down south, especially to, you think of Burlington, North Carolina, and all of these different areas in the South and across the country that, had American-made furniture and took great pride in that. And so this is something that President Trump, yes, that he's cracking down on. So we'll update you on that. As far as Middle East peace. So last week, remember, when President Trump addressed the United Nations, he talked about the fact that in 7+ months, he had solved 7 major world conflicts. Remember that. And so now today, will this be number 8? As President Trump is saying that it looks like Netanyahu and Israel are on board, but is the Middle East? So many different, the Saudis, many different nations in the Middle East are saying that they support this new deal, but Hamas is not a piece of this. What I see here as the sticking point, as we think about next week, the 2-year commemoration of October 7th, and no doubt President Trump wants to get this deal done and get the hostages home. So it would look to me like a sticking point is that I don't see President Trump ruling out the fact that there would be recognition of the statehood for the Palestinians, something that we saw, others in the UK that they were recognizing. This is a huge issue if President Trump would go for that. And so Netanyahu furious over that one. But yesterday you saw him. He said he would sign on to this and that he would be amenable to it. But let's just see where this goes today, as they say that both sides are, quote unquote, close. So we have that one going on. And I do want to update you as well on the story that I'm going to differ in the way that I report on this. Okay. And so we're seeing this story out of Berks County, rural outside of Reading. We have a family, a beautiful young family. The mom in particular, when you see her pictures, she is a beautiful young mom. The dad, the baby, who's a toddler, beautiful little boy. And they were investigating this for the past couple of weeks. Dad was shot to death in one area. Mom was shot to death. And then they found the baby later as they searched this area. Tragic story. Family wiped out. I believe there's one older child who's a few years older who's with family now. But this was a murder mystery that we saw being reported on. And finally, we learned that a suspect had actually confessed. A 61-year-old suspect, in fact. What's going on here? And so I know that in Berks County there, they held a news conference. And still, I just felt like they're holding back. They're not giving us all of the information. And these are my veteran newswoman's spidey senses. As I began to look, I was looking at this yesterday. I was up early this morning. I was looking through and listening to all the different reports, listening actually to what I call the raw of the news conference as well, and trying to piece this together. What's really going on here? There was an inference yesterday by some of the media after the One News conference that perhaps the mom in the case, the 30-something-year-old mom who was murdered, was having some sort of relationship that she has with the confessed killer. It just didn't, you know how you have those senses when for me, I've covered more than 1,000 murders in my career as a television news, Emmy Award-winning anchor, news reporter, investigative, and so on and so forth at the national level, local level, and across the country. Something just didn't seem right to me, didn't jive. And so I think that there's a piece of this that's not being reported, and I think I know why. And so I'll get to it in 1 second, but I just want to set this up for you, okay? The narrative, the media narrative, the bias by omission. What are they not reporting to us? And so in this one, you have now a confession to Berks County law enforcement. And this guy, 61-year-old Jose Luis Rodriguez, he was originally charged with the husband's murder, 33-year-old Junior Cabrera Colon. He was charged with that murder initially. Well, now the reporting is that, yes, this man, Rodriguez, confessed. That's what they're saying, that he confessed to killing the 31-year-old Geraldina Peguero Monsibo, as well as the couple's son, little Jaden, the baby. And so what's really going on here? I want you to listen to this family interview. And this is something that I believe this is off the CBS 3 site, but it looks like the family member, he posted something perhaps publicly, but this is their relative who's speaking out about this. I want you to listen into this. Let's see if you hear what I hear.
To just one death, but today they revealed why they believe he is responsible for all three. Tonight, their family is opening up to NBC 10 Shire Arias about their loss.
Officials are calling this case tragic and horrific as this makeshift memorial continues to grow for Junior Cabrera, his wife and son. The district attorney revealed new details about the three deaths and a possible motive.
He was a friend, but still, I don't know why. He probably was obsessed. I don't know. But the thing that I know is the fact that he didn't have to kill three people. And honestly, I thank God because my auntie, she has no hate right now in her heart. She just wants justice.
Family members of 31-year-old
And so in that one, I'm just gonna go ahead and while I'm talking and fast forward it to his next interview where he says they're illegals. But you heard the cousin of these murder victims. You hear him talk about his auntie, and you hear him speaking about how she's a loving woman, loving mother. And so this is her cousin. And so in this case, you have mom and baby who are found. It's a horrific murder story with what happened with Geraldina. You think about the couple's, little over a year old toddler. And this toddler witnesses mommy being shot to death. And then the confessed killer tells the authorities that he took this beautiful little toddler and threw him into this muddy pond after murdering mom, after shooting and killing mom. And that little Jaden, the toddler, he was still alive at that point. So now we have the autopsy result back. And yes, in fact, the baby died of drowning, of ingesting that muddy water, where a shallow pond there, he's too small to swim, and it was a little too deep for him to swim and make his way out of there. It's just horrible to think about the death of this little toddler in a cold-blooded killing. But let's listen in with the cousin when he speaks about And you heard him say that this killer, they all know him, a family friend, an acquaintance, was obsessed with her, Geraldina, but how he describes his auntie, her husband, his uncle, as well as the baby.
The one who helped them find a home.
Cousin and her husband, they were immigrants. They were not legal. So they needed someone who Jose Luis was the friend to rent the apartment.
Now this shattered
So I want
family
to stop it right there. This is a key issue, and we cannot gloss over it. And what he's saying is they're not legal. They're immigrants, but they do not have citizenship. They don't have, obviously, some kind of work visa or that sort of thing. And so they're vulnerable. This is a critical, if I were her and I were reporting on the story, I would focus on this. This is part of the reason, first and foremost, we need to fix our broken immigration policy. No matter where you stand politically on this issue, here's right now the reason that we need to fix what we have in our nation right now. This couple was made vulnerable by somebody because they don't have legal citizenship. They don't have that status. So they need to rent a place, and they need somebody who can speak English, because we know that they were working. They have employment. Okay. We've confirmed that one. And so in this one, illegal people here, families like this one, they are made vulnerable. By the way, it's part of the reason initially when I first started reporting on this issue years and years ago, the reason that the whole premise of a so-called sanctuary, it's a shame that it's abused in politics the way it is. Law enforcement officers were the first ones to come up with that term, and they would come up with it because they would cover cases of child abuse, domestic abuse, some kind of trafficking that might even involve a distant relative. And so law enforcement officers, they were the ones who said, you know what, you have sanctuary with us. In other words, they wanted children and women, usually were the victims or survivors of some kind of crime or domestic abuse. And the law enforcement, because there was community policing back then, would say, you can trust me. Okay, you're not going to be deported. This is not about that. But we don't want these kinds of abusers or traffickers or people who would beat a woman or beat a child. And so I just want to give you that origin of something that now has been, it's really a sin to me because it's been abused. And in this case, this couple, because they needed this individual, perhaps helped bring them here with a promise of a better life. But it would appear, and from my sourcing, this guy, double her age, wanted Geraldina, and took her out to this field, and she would not leave her husband. And so in that case, if you can't have her, takes her life, and then throws her baby into this shallow pond and then murders the husband. That's the story. That's the picture we have. And it's one more reason, I believe, that we should all want legal immigration, because these individuals were made vulnerable by somebody who preyed upon them and took what was most precious to them, their lives, but in a horrific way, murdered their little child, left him there in this muddy pond where he threw this sweet little boy, threw him there to die this horrible death. Now, the prosecutors there have not taken the death penalty off the table, by the way, but they're not confirming the citizenship status of Rodriguez, the confessed killer, as they say. So he could face the death penalty, but we don't know, is he a legal citizen? What is his status? That's another question I have this morning. 855-839-1210, Dawn Stensland reporting to you. So we'll take a quick break here. Remember that we do have an important interview upcoming, and that is a grieving father. We played this, we've been talking about this, and I had put this out on social media yesterday afternoon as he was testifying. He wants you to know the name of his murdered daughter, and he wants to call out these Democrat policies, not just in the Carolinas, but here in Philadelphia and across the country, the kinds of policies that lead to the freedom for those who should be behind bars and should make our communities safer, if only DAs like ours here in our area, Krasner, if only they would abide by the law and put dangerous criminals behind bars rather than putting right back into our communities. We'll be right back.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 6,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies, and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 7th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
With the crisp fall air just around the corner, let's talk about your fireplace. That's right, you heard me. Do you have an old, drafty, or smelly fireplace? For over 30 years, Rettinger Fireplace has been transforming fireplaces in the tri-state area into beautiful, authentic, and efficient systems easily operated by remote control. Want to love your fireplace again? Call 855-GET-RET to schedule your free consultation or visit RettingerFireplace.com. Choose Rettinger Fireplace, where details make the difference.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
This is Merrill Reese. When it comes to your roof, it's like football. Good planning is essential. That's why I've got a brand new gorgeous roof from Impriano Roofing. Jack Impriano and his 4 sons are a true family business, serving our area for 5 decades. Accountability plus. It's good to get a brand new roof from Impriano Roofing. Visit Impriano.com. That's Impriano.com. The best homes have an Impriano roof.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yesterday. It's a hectic news day today, man. So we have upcoming just a few minutes, and then we'll at the bottom of the hour, right at 11:30, we'll have our interview with this grieving dad that we'll talk to. We've been talking about him this morning. Delaware County family. They're originally from Delco, and a beautiful family, wife and son, and the daughter, their 22-year-old daughter, Logan. They're from they moved from Delco to North Carolina. So she goes to visit some friends who are in college in South Carolina. And, you know, what a fate that this career criminal, hardened career criminal, finds his way, and police say it's just random, had stolen a car, drove into a neighborhood, started breaking into some homes, broke into the home where she was, and then murders her in this home. It's just an unthinkable story. And this guy never should have been free. And that's the bottom line. With 39 different charges against him, felonies, felony charges, very serious. I was looking up hundreds of pages of this accused killer's rap sheet, and it's unbelievable that he was out. Each one of those felonies, aggravated in his past, should have kept him behind bars 15 years. So we'll talk about that one moving forward and get his take, as he's a dad who's now on a mission. And so we'll talk to him. Let's get to some of the other news of the day, shall we? As we think about what's going on. And Justin, I had sent you some. Justin still filling. I think is Dan back tomorrow? Dan Borowski?
Yeah, Dan's back tomorrow.
So he's back tomorrow. Thank you so much. You've done a tremendous job, if I haven't told you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Justin, we're so busy. I always feel, you know how in your life you feel like, oh gosh, I hope I've told him he's done a great job. But you've been doing a great job. We're just running around, aren't we?
Funny enough, news never stops.
News never stops. There used to be, when I first started in the business, when I was 12, and we would have stories whereby we would have to make sure that we would have feature stories for those slow days.
Yeah.
And it was a great time because you would feature on local businesses or a beautiful, place in the whatever that you would want to go to. New destinations.
Yeah.
That is a thing of the past.
Oh, I mean, just,
you know what I mean?
Just in like the last couple hours, we had Trump and Hegseth at Quantico. Now we've got Trump about to speak at some point in the next, hopefully, hour or two from the Oval Office. Yeah. It's just everything everywhere all at once.
Yes. And I really do think it's, I will say, the era of Trump. So you think about Donald J. Trump within the past decade, I would say that's when it all changed, is Trump. And even in between, we had all the J6 like nonsense and all the narratives and whatnot. But I would say it's the last 10 years how everything has changed. There's no more news cycle that's a day. It's really maybe an hour to 2 hours. And that's when it absolutely changes.
And I think that's because Trump is available pretty much at all hours of the day. It's not like, normally when they call a can and you don't hear from the president, like with Biden and the presidents before Trump. Once that hit, you were done. But with Trump, it's just like we played that clip of Tyrus at his comedy show yesterday. Mm-hmm. And he's up at 2:30. Yeah. He's almost 80, and he's up at 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning, just texting, just talking about his plans for the day. No other president has been as easily accessible and as readily as accessible as President Trump has been.
Yeah, and that's transparency for you. And whether or not you're critical of his style or some of the words or whatever, it's never do you look at President Trump and go, oh, he's like Gavin Newsom with the slick talk, and this is the talking point, but it's not real. Tell me the truth. Do you ever think that? Because I don't. And sometimes I think that's TMI. It's too much information. You know what I mean? Or sometimes he's going on about something that he wouldn't have to. But never do I have that moment where I think, this is some slick talk, and it's not really the truth, and it's some narrative that he wants us to look over here instead of. I don't think that.
Or I wish he would expound more on a certain point.
Right.
No, you're going to get every single little thought about anything he wants to talk about.
The good, the bad, the ugly. So we're on standby as President Trump will be addressing the nation apparently from the White House. And so I believe it's going to be an Oval Office address. Will the government shutdown happen? It looks like it's all but certain. We're watching everything, but we'll take a quick break. Around the corner, I'm really honored to be joined by this dad who, I'm going to say, what a courageous parent. I can't imagine my husband or myself, speaking after this unthinkable crime against his daughter. And he is truly a courageous dad who does not want you to ever forget the name of Logan, his daughter, and he wants to make sure that no other father, no other parent has to undergo this kind of heartache. So Steve Federico, he's up next.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with an easy question. How are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is a key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember to use the code DROP to buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP at res-q.com.
At Virtua Health, we're redefining heart care.
Our heart rhythm team at Virtua is really working at the forefront of technology. There's constantly new advances.
Like cardiac clinical trials and breakthrough treatments for atrial fibrillation.
Treating atrial fibrillation with ablation and treating it early allows for the best outcomes for our patients. We can make a meaningful difference in patients' lives.
Virtua Health, here for complex heart care, here for good. More at virtua.org/hereforgood.
Win your share of $500,000 in prizes at Borgata Hotel, Casino and Spa during the Strike It Rich drawing. Earn entries now through October 25th for your chance to win weekly prizes. On October 25th, 5 grand prize winners will win $25,000 worth of gold bullion. The $500,000 Strike It Rich drawing. Win your share of $500,000 in prizes only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
September's here, and so are the savings at Hesser Chevrolet. Cruise into fall with a 0 down payment lease on a new 2025 Chevy Equinox EV, just $299 a month, or a new 2025 Chevy Trax, just $259 a month, or lease a new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, just $399 a month for 39 months. Visit Hesser Chevrolet of Philadelphia, or check us out online at HesserChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for details. Together, let's drive.
Hesser Chevrolet!
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself?
Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HoldTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Fall is in the air. The leaves are turning, the games are on, and it's the perfect season for something truly one of a kind. At Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square, custom jewelry isn't just a service, it's a passion. For 35 years, this family-owned business has created timeless, handcrafted pieces that tell your story, all designed and made in-house. And when it comes to jewelry that stands out, don't forget the fifth C. Cut, color, clarity, carat, and cozy. Make this fall unforgettable with Cozy Jewelers.
Looking for beautiful, high-quality furniture for your home? Look no further than Bucks County Estate Traders. Skip the big chains and discover their massive showroom in Hatfield, packed with 16,000 unique pieces, where you can furnish your whole home in one easy visit. Shop comfortably and get it delivered locally or wherever you are. Thanks to their exclusive white glove carrier network, Bucks County Estate Traders handles delivery nationwide, so you can save time, effort, and money. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield today.
I'm just a kid. I'm 6. I'm 9. I'm 4.5. And I've got asthma. You know just how upset I can get when I have an asthma attack.
And I know that you want to do all that you can do to help me. But you might not know
about all the different stuff that can make me have an asthma attack.
Or all the simple things you can do to fight my asthma.
You can fight it with a bear.
You can fight it with a duck. You can fight it with a wrench.
Put my teddy bear in the freezer to wipe out dust mites.
Dry off rubber duckies and fix leaks to get rid of mold. 'Cause mold can start my asthma attacks too.
Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Visit noattacks.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
Thanks for doing all you can to help me out. 'Cause I don't want to feel like a fish with no water.
Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Starbucks clarifying with their teams that names can be used by customers on their coffee order as you wish.
Yes, thank you. I'm tired of these liberal women taking corporate policy in their own hands. From Office Depot to Starbucks, you're there to make $16 or whatever it is an hour and just fulfill orders, not to be an activist.
Start your day with Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Weather sponsored by Duke's Mayonnaise.
A couple of tropical systems off the East Coast will keep clouds around today with some sunshine this afternoon. It'll be warm with a high of around 81. For tonight, becoming partly cloudy, low 58 for the city, cooler out in the suburbs, and a cooler day on Wednesday with plenty of sunshine with a high 73.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Picture streams in our community. That's where our kids play, and dogs splash. And some of these streams provide the water we drink. But is the water in these streams clean and safe? The truth is, for most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. For almost 50 years, the Isaac Walton League of America has helped people just like you test the water in local streams, clean up pollution, and protect healthy waters. Today, the Isaac Walton League has an ambitious new goal: engage volunteers across the country to test 100,000 more streams for pollution. You can protect clean water in our community by joining the Clean Water Challenge. To get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesInschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair.
No cutting in line. Play by the rules.
Play by the rules. Don't pick on the little kids.
It's important.
Fair.
It's good for our family.
It's good for our neighborhood. It's good for the whole world.
Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more.
I'm glad we had this talk.
As a combat wounded veteran, I know how hard it is to come home and build a meaningful life. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. When I was in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. A rocket-propelled grenade exploded right under my seat. Traumatic brain injury, a fractured pelvis, severe burns. They didn't think I was going to make it. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
With DAV on my side, I was able to pursue my dreams. If my story can touch a heart, it can change a life. My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Latoya Lucas, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Calling on East Greenville to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
Her name was Logan. She was just 22 years young, and she wanted to be a teacher someday. She was beautiful, had a big personality, but as big of a personality and as big of a heart she had, according to friends and family, she was tiny, petite. And, you know, it's unthinkable to me as a parent with my son's in his early, he's 21, and my oldest son. I cannot imagine the grief that the Federico family, the grief and shock that they've been enduring after their beautiful daughter, Logan, was murdered. She was just visiting another friend in South Carolina at her college. She's from North Carolina. And it's just an unbelievable situation because it never should have happened. Because that career criminal who broke into the friend's home that night and is accused of this heinous crime should have been behind bars, because this is a career criminal. And that was the point this week of yesterday's emotional testimony that truly is, I think, gripping hearts and minds, capturing headlines. As a grieving father, so courageous as he's speaking out about this. Not an easy thing to do, but it's important to understand that this kind of situation, whether it's in the Carolinas, whether it's here in Philadelphia, the commonality, the common ground that we see across the nation is this philosophy of progressive Democrat district attorneys who seem to, thumb their nose at the law. It feels sometimes to me like our DA here and DAs across the nation will do everything to put a career criminal, a violent criminal, right back out into our communities. And we need to stop it. And so I want to welcome in somebody who's originally from this area, from Delco, where my husband, Larry Menti, actually grew up in Delaware County. And so we want to welcome in and I'm so honored, Stephen Federico, to have you join us here at Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Logan. She was a special person.
And so for you, first of all, we have had phone calls today, people saying, I think the Federicos are originally from Delaware County. Can you tell us where my husband, Larry Menti, actually born and raised in Lansdowne in Delco, St. Philomena's Parish, where we were married. And so I know Delco very well. Where are you from in Delaware County?
I grew up in Toby Farms, right outside of Brookhaven, Chester Township. Went to Our Lady of Charity and then graduated from St. James.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah, we're all around from the same area.
Yeah. So, for your family, I know that you want to speak out about this and talk about this unacceptable situation. Have you received, first of all, any kind of reaction from the DA's office there in South Carolina that has let this career criminal just slip through the cracks, as they say?
There's really been no communication, which is kind of absurd. Seeing that it's been almost 5 months now, and we've had one meeting that we actually had to approach him with, which it lasts about 15 or 20 minutes. But from other interviews I've done with people kind of in the legal field, there should be some pretty frequent meetings as to how the case is going and what the evidence looks like and where they stand and whether they're going to seek the death penalty that we requested. Obviously, we don't get to make that final decision, but I think as parents and a sibling of the person that was taken from us in an execution style murder, I think we should have a little bit of say in it.
Yeah, and this is an issue, and it's, again, common ground. We had victims' families here, for example, in Philadelphia, go to Harrisburg and lobbied against our district attorney, Larry Krasner. Similar story that we see across the nation with these progressive DAs, where the victims' families, they say the same thing, that they feel like their loved one or the families feel like they have less rights and less priority, quite frankly, than accused career criminals who are out, even the ones convicted of very violent crimes. It's not right. And it does. It depends on which city or which area you live in.
I kind of equate it to this. I think sometimes the DAs on that side of the aisle kind of get confused on who the actual victim is.
Yeah.
And they put up a strong fight for the criminal. And like I said, I think they get confused with who the actual victim is. And Logan's the victim, but I progressively get worse and they stick up the criminal and they think they're the victim. There are just going to be many more Logans. Mm-hmm. And that's what I have to stop. It's too late for Logan. But I can't let what happened to our daughter, cousin, niece, friend, and I don't really care what city or state it's in. I will scream from the top of the mountain how wrong what happened to her is and why it happened. Look, everybody knows by now, 39 offenses, 39, okay? And, we all know 25 of them were felonies. So there's zero reason for him to have been on the street. Yeah. Zero reason.
Yeah, I pulled up his rap sheet this morning and just going through it looked like hundreds of pages.
It's extensive.
It's ridiculous. And some of these
extensive.
Aggravated. I mean, there were some where fairly, they would carry 15 years. And
well, listen,
25.
If you look at all his crimes, I kind of have a team now. And if you look at a lot of his crimes, if you add them all up, he should have done over 140 years in prison.
It's unacceptable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm not laughing because I'm happy.
No.
I'm laughing because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say this to you, and first of all, what you're doing, this takes such strength and courage, and you're amazing and I know for you and Melissa and for your son to go through this, just trust me, you have a team of people here in just our listening areas as you speak out, as we spread the word about your battle as a family to make sure that Logan's memory at least can hopefully save others from this pain and this anguish and this kind of violent career criminal. But are you starting some kind of a foundation? How can we support you, follow you? Because let me tell you something, we're a tight-knit group here, believe it or not. I have so many different text threads with our listeners, and we've become friends. We're like family. It's a huge listening audience, and many across the country because people have moved from, as you guys moved, people all over the country. So how can we, and this is the big thing, Steve, how can we support you, follow you, and make sure that Logan's memory is honored?
Well, listen, one is we do have a GoFundMe page, and a lot of that's going to go to some foundations and some scholarships and grants that we're going to do in her name. And we already have one of the schools she was going to that wants to participate in that. And what the Federicos want to do, we want to self-fund that, okay? And that'll help. Obviously, we're gonna come up with some strategies to kind of keep this from happening. I want to do some speaking engagements. I've got so much support now from a lot of people ever since yesterday. Since yesterday, it's gone absolutely crazy. But when you see me on Facebook, we're going to have some petitions out there at some point. We're going to fight. We're going to fight the soft on crime policy, and the more of us that band together and fight it, the bigger and stronger Logan's face will become. Yeah. Look, this isn't about Steve. It's not about me. This is about Logan and about the future Logans and making sure it doesn't happen. For you, and that's a piece of this, it's just such a common theme. And I think you're going to find this, Steve, tragically across the country as you talk to different people. And that's why people from all walks of life, quite frankly, have unnecessarily experienced what you and Melissa, your son, the entire family, as far as this goes. It's ridiculous. Sometimes I can't believe I'm reporting, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, some of the crimes and then the rap sheets on these accused criminals. And so is this a situation where now you get involved in the politics of it? Is it your goal, in other words, to get people fired essentially? Or is it your goal to reach people within these offices, whether it's judges, DAs, whoever, to try to, make sure that they have a change of heart? I think, that's kind of twofold because I think they found out who I am yesterday. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think a lot of people found out that I'm not going away and I'm going to be a voice. I'm going to be a loud voice and I'm going to be a face and I'm going to be a big face of a cause. I'd love to be able to work together to find out a solution for this. Mm-hmm. Okay. But it has to be together. Yeah. And they have to be willing to say, "Hey, this is where we screwed up. This is what happened." And trust me, we're going to find this out. We're going to find out exactly why Alexander Dickey was on the street. There's no holding that back. It's public information. I know who it was. I know who put him out on the street. Mm-hmm. But working together to fix the systemic problem of the lack of communication between counties and lack of information, that when you can't look up somebody you just arrested and find out that he has been arrested in 25 other states or wherever, that's a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
When you have information and you're a judge and you're sentencing someone and you don't know the entire background of that criminal that's sitting in front of you, and you let him off with a slap on the wrist because you didn't know that he committed 38 other crimes, that's a problem.
Yes. And a part of one of the reasons I can tell you, just covering crime in my career, is that these criminals, once they see that they're going to be let out early and they see this culture of crime, then they figure they actually get bolder with each and every crime. And so that leads me to my next question. You've said your daughter, she was this petite, you said 5'3", 115 pounds. Why?
Right.
That's the big question. Why did he have to shoot her and take her life?
Well, here's the biggest question, okay? Listen, people make personal choices. Criminals make personal choices. They know how to work the system. They know that they're not going to do any time. And that's what everybody's kind of losing the track of. He made a personal choice to pull my daughter out of bed.
Yeah.
Naked, and put her on her knees with her hands up over her head and beg for her life. He made that choice. And he should be the one that has to die for that choice. Period.
Yeah.
He's in jail now. You remember 3 strike rules?
Yes.
So when did it change to 40? Because nobody told me.
No, it's not acceptable, and we have to change, so much of this, but we do need Logan's Law, and I wish it were a federal law. I'm not usually somebody that's for
Well, that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, it should be a federal Logan's Law. This is what you and your family are experiencing. I don't even know how to say any words as a parent, what you're going through, but to turn that into an energy, Steve, where you're now focused on something like a Logan's Law to save other, young people and other people. It's amazing to you that you're able to lean into this and help others.
You know what? If I could say one more thing,
course.
if I have time,
Sure.
I would say this. I dabble in the politics a little bit. I am who I am. But I would tell you this, the support that I've gotten from some of the politicians is absolutely tremendous. A lot could walk away. A lot couldn't have stepped up. But there has been a lot that have stepped up. There's one major network that has stepped up that I've been all over the news. But there are politicians out there that care. Trust me.
Good.
And I'm finding out who they are. And I vow we have to make change.
Yeah.
We have to make change.
Steve Federico, I saw you on with Laura Ingram yesterday, and I hope that more people just support you. We support you here in Philadelphia. I'm so sorry. You never should have had.
Thank you.
You didn't deserve. Logan obviously didn't deserve this. Your family didn't. And these scumbag career criminals should not be out on the streets like this. And quite frankly, the judges and
you know what's weird?
Yeah.
You know what's weird?
What?
Just imagine, everybody who's listening, imagine how many Alexander Dickies are out in your community right now.
Yeah. And that's the scary piece of it. They're out here, they're predators, and
keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep your head on a swivel.
Steve Federico, thank you so much. I hope that we can keep in touch. We want to follow you, support you in every way. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you helping me get Logan's story out there. Thank you.
You can count on us.
Have a great day.
You too, Steve. Thank you. Steve Federico. We can't wrap our brains around that, right? What he's going through, what their families I'm sure they're still in shock. This happened in May, but there are so many different stages of grief, and I would say that sometimes you have to get to that point where you have anger and you can fuel that anger into an energy and just focus now on Logan's Law. So that's what we all have to rally around. And look, perhaps we can have some different events moving forward and make sure that, this kind of situation, it just should not happen. It's not acceptable. So we thank Steve Federico. What an amazing family they are, and to find out they're from right here locally and move south. And their beautiful daughter, she should be, graduating college as a teacher. That was her dream. Just a beautiful young lady. It's unthinkable to me. So thanks for being here today. What a fast-paced morning. I can't even believe the time. Dom Giordano, I apologize. I just looked up at the clock and realized it's Dom time. Talking to Steve Federico. So Dom's show is up next.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, this is Larry Stitus with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Some big news. Just before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers and threats ahead for those who stand for truth. Charlie wrote this in his last published work, the foreword for the new book, Pagan Threat. Authored by Pastor Lucas Miles, Charlie said that Pagan Threat could save America. Charlie said you must read, internalize, and share this book. It has the plan to stop the wokeism infecting America. Already a #1 Amazon bestseller, Pagan Threat is available wherever books are sold. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer and save $30. Go online now to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com. Millions are tuning into Newsmax on all major cable systems. They're downloading our free Newsmax app on their smartphones. And they're getting Pagan Threat to see Charlie Kirk's final words. Go today to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time. Boy, just chomping at the bit to get on today, given what has happened with hundreds of generals, Pete Hegseth, and the president. I'm going to play you several cuts. This is the Quantico meeting, why these generals were called in from 1 star up. Particularly, we need military people. And kind of a bank shot there to Mikey Sherrill. A lot out there today about how did not 1, but 2 of her daughters beat the odds and get nominated to go to, more than nominated, appointed to go to the Naval Academy. Both of them without any undue influence in her position. There's a lot out there today on that. And the point I'll make on it is this is a woman, this is the entire Democrats up and down the line. They even have a shortcut. They don't even call it white privilege anymore. They just call it privilege. That's it. You're supposed to know. Soon they'll chop it up, priv or something. You know what we're talking about. Yet, the Mikey Sherrills of the world and her kids, and the Kennedys, for example, they're always leading things. They're always in the best spots. Who has to pay the price for DEI? Well, that was part of Pete Hegseth opening up today with the generals. DEI and fitness. So we're going to play you a good bit of this. We got an unbelievable side question today. At least I think it is, because I may have been more the author of this one. I'll take the heat if it's not good. But Pete Hegseth at Quantico. Now, just one thing. It gives me a great pause whenever I'm, I don't want to go too far with this, with lecturing generals, like cheering that on. I don't think the average person listening would, but I think A lot of these things needed to be said because of some in the military who have gone woke. Because that's how you advance in the Biden-Obama years. Go woke. All this crazy stuff inside the military, the last place that we thought would be infected by this. The last place that you would see this. But no, there's no place that's safe. They are rife with it, maybe even still. But the point is this. When it's the military, I think we always have to give due deference. Even if some have lost their way here, their mission overall. And I think that's how this was billed, that they wanted to praise the U.S. military. The other thing you're seeing play out today, and I'll play you some clips that I think is really important. When all is said and done about President Trump, and this may be a bold statement, the thing that's going to be the biggest legacy, if it stands, is Trump against all odds, way back to 2016. We're not going to get involved in unending wars. So Hegseth talked today, and the president talked today, about the idea that the U.S. military has to be so good, so ready, that the rest of the world doesn't dare, and that we don't have to get into wars. And remarkably, throughout the Trump years, we've avoided that. So occasionally we hit Iran in a display that was unbelievable and sent an unbelievable message. I told you I was in the Oval Office one time with 3 other talk show hosts. About 50 Congress people come in trying to convince the president to put more troops, boots on the ground in Syria. I could tell they had no shot. He was talking to us about it. That's not the way he's going to roll on this stuff. There are other things he would do. But that is much different than, say, the Bushites. Much different. There's still a lot of people in the Republican Party, the Chiefs, for example, that don't like that approach. That really is the Trump doctrine. So here is Pete Hegseth, and there was a lot about fitness today. This is cut 26, though. Here's, and there's a little expletive deleted at the end here. Here's Hegseth, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense of War, saying that we're declaring war on woke garbage.
Combat leaders. This is one thing you and I can control, and we owe it to the force to deliver it. For too long, we have simply not done that. The military has been forced by foolish and reckless politicians to focus on the wrong things. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay, some of it obvious, some of it hidden. Or as the chairman has put it, we are clearing out the debris, removing the distractions, clearing the way for leaders to be leaders. You might say we're ending the war on warriors. I heard someone wrote a book about that. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing. We've weeded out so-called toxic leaders under the guise of double-blind psychology assessments, promoting risk-averse, go-along-to-get-along conformists instead. You name it, the department did it. Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. Right now, I'm looking out at a sea of Americans who made a choice when they were young men and young women to do something most Americans will not, to serve something greater than yourselves, to fight for God and country, for freedom and the Constitution. You made a choice to serve when others did not, and I commend you. You are truly the best of America.
All right, Henry, thank you. So he then said at the end, we are done with this blank, okay, here with Pete Hegseth. All right, so that was a little bit of the tenor. Now, MSNBC rolls out Molly Young Fast, the woman with the weird hair and glasses. But CNN brought on a retired, I think he's a retired lieutenant general. And of course, he takes umbrage at what Hegseth was doing. I think both the style and the message today. I think, again, I give a lot of deference to the military, and I'm not saying I agree with every word or every nuance here, but overall, this is exactly what we've been talking about forever, both the woke part and then the fitness part, and then the Trump doctrine be so strong, perceived as so strong, you don't have to fight any wars because the enemy knows what the consequence would be. Not on CNN. Here's their take with the Lieutenant General about Hegseth.
Priya, thank you. General, what's your reaction to what we heard so far from the president and the defense secretary?
I'm hard to put together my thoughts on this, Anna, to be honest with you. First of all, I think we ought to address the atmospherics. We're talking about a huge American flag behind the speakers. That's reminiscent of the opening scene from the movie Patton, which President Trump has said he absolutely loves. I don't think that flag is normally there at the Quantico Museum, but we'll see. In terms of what Secretary Hegseth has said, those were anticipated, as well as what the president is doing. It's anticipated. These are the kinds of speeches the president has given at Fort Bragg in front of a roaring group of soldiers who all said they were supporters of his. At West Point, I was there when he gave the graduation address. This is somewhat similar to the speech he gave at the UN. It's somewhat shocking, and it's filled with mistruths. And he's addressing a bunch of men and women who serve all over the world, who have firsthand experience in some of the alliances and what he's talking about in terms of warfighting. So I would suspect it's not being taken well. When I first started listening to the speech, I found my mouth open. I just couldn't believe some of the things that were being said to this group of individuals who have such experience. And one last thing I'd say, Anna, the thing I've got to stick up for is the defense of the American military. The soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, I've never served with Space Force Guardians, but those four services I've had the opportunity to serve with, not only in combat, but on the joint staff.
Okay, Henry,
and in
we
various
get it from
assignments in my
general
career.
here. All right, but his mouth was agape. His mouth was open. All right, so we're going to play you more of this, but you got a sense of the tenor and the battle here. And certainly, I think the doing this and sending the message. And here's one standard. We can use some help from people that have been in the military. That Pete Hegseth, and I'll play it a little bit later, said that the standard in combat now will be the highest male qualification standards. In other words, there's not going to be any fudging of anything around here because of females that might or may not be in combat. The highest male standard in combat is what he talked about. All right, so 855-839-1210. This is major stuff, and it's stuff that has, I wish the general gave a little bit more his objection to this. We'll play you Maui Young fast on MSNBC. They went even further. They say the military is woke is bizarre. No, it's not. That's how people advance. Certainly Obama, a lot more with Biden. All the nonsense that we've seen that the U.S. military, and Trump made the point today, he will always have the back of the military. That means he's not going to insist on this nonsense that we've seen and heard about, and I think is reality. How many times did it happen that they're saying is faulty? No, it has been happening, and it needs to end, and that's what today was about. All right, let me give you the side question. Today is Blasphemy Day. Not that it celebrates blasphemy, but it's the day that recognizes there still are certain things that are blasphemous. Now, we're not talking about in the spiritual sense. I'm going to give you one. This one just came to me. I think it's really going to be hard to beat. Something that you'd say, that's blasphemy. You know, in a secular sense, you go, oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. You can't say that. All right, that under 70 would ever be a passing grade in American schools. That, sir, is blasphemy. It's blasphemy.
Why? What should the grade be?
It's 70's got to be. You can't go below 70.
Oh, you're saying it should be the passing grade?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm saying it's blasphemy.
I thought you were...
I taught in places where 62. I had a kid with a 78 wanting a B, said that was a low B. I was like, get out of here.
Oh, I would try the same thing, too. I mean, you gotta.
No, but he actually believed it, Henry. Like, it wasn't he was trying to con to get the grade. He actually believed that 78 was a low B. What the heck?
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
I would ask for that B, too. That would be...
Oh, my God. All right. Let's get another producer in here. That failed the test.
Yeah.
So 70, anything below 70 will never be the passing grade. It's the 11th commandment of Catholic schools. I think even today, they would never go below that. Get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And one other, if you say something like McDonald's is, I saw this one online, McDonald's is better than the In-N-Out burger. That's blasphemy, from what I know, as a non-meat eater.
I would agree with you, yeah.
Exactly.
Same.
All right, what's yours?
How about someone saying that the Rolling Stones are a better band than the Beatles? That'd be considered blasphemous in my eyes.
It's blasphemous the other way. Oh my God, I didn't know that. They're obviously better. Yeah, the Stones are
obviously is where that's the point of contention right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's straight blasphemy.
This is like a nice circle of hell now. Dante, call your office. Kirk, do you have one?
Yep, I would. Well, this is going to cause some controversy and a war, but I think blasphemy is putting ketchup on a hot dog.
I would agree. That's a great.
No, I'm pro
that's a
ketchup
great-
on hot dog.
Oh,
no.
my God.
Ketchup,
Okay.
mustard, relish,
No, it's a mustard
onions,
thing.
Exactly
sauerkraut.
right. Yes.
I can't think of very few things that ketchup should ever be put on. I don't know why we have
What?
it even. Blasphemy.
It's like the highest selling condiment of all time. It goes on everything.
All right. 855-839-1210. Get in early. At 12:30, we're going to talk with Leland Vittert. He is the anchor in News Nation now. He's autistic, and he has a new book out about how lucky he was that his father, and we're talking about someone who was severely treated in school. You've seen him on Fox. I used to be on with him on Fox, I'd say 2 times a month from the conservative side, and he would go after either side. He'd grill you. All right, so he's got a brand new book out on this, and he backs RFK Jr. going to try to get at the cause of this as someone who lived it and continues to live it. It is a remarkable story, and already it's selling out all over the place. And it's ripped right from, what we talk about every day. He'll be here at 12:30, but your calls are next. Hit me on something that is blasphemy. Yeah, I like that. Ketchup on a hot dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I still thought the 70, people, I passed, I had a 65. Oh, my God. It's like, this is just unimaginable. Well, I taught in one school district, Kirk, where you could have a 0 all mark, and you had to give them an F, not a 0.
Right.
3 marking periods. And in the 4th, if you got an A, the quality points gave you a passing grade for the year. Just think about what a joke. These maniacs are out there now. How much are 2 and 2? I'll wait to the 4th marking period. No, I had some kids who were smart enough, but they were in a low track. They did it intentionally. They didn't want to do anything. And they would just take off in the last marking period, try to get an A.
Jesus.
I never gave
Go
an
for
A.
the gold.
I never gave an A to one of those kids. I wasn't going to do it. And I'm going
Good
to
for
say,
you.
I'm not going to get it no matter what. I don't care what you do.
Good for
Take
you.
me before a tribunal. All right, 855-839-1210. Statute of limitations is passed on that one. Something that you think is blasphemous. All right, 855-839-1210.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Now until September 30th, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Trust Window Nation. Get your free estimate now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on 1210 WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Up to $3,000 above KBB is based on KBB excellent trade-in condition. Deductions apply for damage, reconditioning, excessive wear and tear, and above average miles. Get paid to trade. At KiaofCherryHill.com, we're offering up to $3,000 over Kelley Blue Book trade-in value for your current vehicle. Get up to $3,000 more for your trade. But that's not all. Shop our massive selection of tariff-free Kias. Upgrade your ride today at KiaofCherryHill.com. That's